University education for distance learning during COVID. Student name, Cao Kaiyuan. Studented, 202206010051. Introduction. Leadership is an essential line the education system in managing distance learning process of the COVID. Educational institutions face degree crisis in the management of total earning system and the education system. Leadership quality to continue. Even educational institution has an important contribution that may be helpful for the enhancement of the learning process at the time of COVID. Every institution has faced issues to manage the distance learning process. Only great leader can handle this situation to manage the education system research problem during COVID period. Educational institutions faced issues to manage the earning system from a distance. There was no physical contact. A.G. Ahmed, 2020. Leaders were facing issues to manage the tailored education system through online MOED of the time of COVID. The educational institutions face degree in managing the education system as to connect with students continuously. Leaders of the institutions were not ready to adapt to new technology as to continue the education process of learning from a distance. Research objectives and questions. Objectives of the researcher. Ton of impact of the leaders in managing education system from distance learning. Ton of impact on distance learning during COVID period. To find issues face the leaders of educational institutions at the time of COVID. Learning from a distance to commence on strategies that can help mitigate the issues faced in handling distance learning. Research questions there. RQ1. What is the impact of the leaders in management of education at distance learning? RQ2. How COVID-19 has created an impact on distance learning during COVID-19. RQ3. What are the issues facing the leaders in educational systems during COVID-19 in distance learning? What are some recommendations that can help to mitigate the issues of the leaders of featured issues handling distance learning during COVID-19? Research gaps in THIS research. The Orino to new sources of data that can describe the issue with proper statistics. There was lack of the AI knowledge and a lack of funds that can help with statistical tools. Synthesis present research raises a lack of data statistics that can describe the situation of the education system in COVID. It is also a possibility to complete a detailed project in systems research needs huge knowledge for reading great numbers of journals and articles and to understand them significantly. THIS research and done a of analysis. THIS research will be helpful for identifying the issues faced by the leaders in education system during COVID. Sam Aiden, 2021. Introduction. Literature review and methodology. We discussed detailed research. THIS research will help education leaders to manage total institutions to continue distance learning in a great way. The students will be also helpful to manage the total situation to learn from a distance. Total research will contain introduction, literature review, and methodology parts. Operational definitions. Leadership is a great quality that can help to enhance the tailored education system at the time of COVID. Learning from distance was only way to continue education for whole world. Almana, 2020. Educational institutions need greater leaders to handle the total management system of learning from distances during the COVID period. There was no way to present physically, and learning from home was the only way to continue education of students. Requirements of student issues. There was no new discussion of the implementation of then learning techniques and handling process of the leaders of education system. A.G. Ahmed, 2020. There was no specific training for the students to adopt distance learning process in COVID from home. Sam Aiden, 2021. The leaders were not or had no adult implementation of systems that were in need for the education system. Students were not also getting training to in a technique was to continue Distance learning. Various articles related to the research of Cao Kaiyuan for thise research hypothesis and background knowledge. Education leadership is not too much important for management of distance learning. H1. Education leadership has great importance and the management of distance learning system. In covered period to a hypothesis of the researchers describing the important share of education leadership in distance learning system during COVID in education system to handle total management or process of learning. A great leader is needed to handle total process of teacher-student learning process, methodological knowledge, primary quantitative research will burst and they will help to get exact result form different opinion of people variety ease of the time listing will help to get accurate knowledge related to the research in thise research. There will burst primary quantitative data thought will collected from different people to of importance and handling issues in leadership in education system in COVID actual data ilvamarity to get results evaluation of the points mentioned in literature review will helpful to understand the process of research background knowledge hypothesis and interpretation of data helpful to maintain total research and methodology to continue the research as usual. 2020 there were different points this will helpful for gaining knowledge of different variables that are useful for different points of the research knowledge related to leadership and data management process hypothesis and data interpretations will helpful for gaining knowledge for the continuation of research. Analysis and literature review if has been problems to research background knowledge of this topic of the research it can be known that the leadership system and education of the term of covered a great importance in literature review problems of research and knowledge related to different variables related to the topic can be interpreted. It is also found that methodology will think the interpretation of the leadership in education system was a great need to handle the issues at the time of COVID to manage learning system from distance research design method and approach, descriptive research design, and positivism philosophy, will followed, SRCETAL, 2020, deductive research approach, will be said in thise research, descriptive research design, will followed and positivism. Will be said and thise research will be conducted as followed a descriptive research. Design will helpful to conduct the research in a great way variables and participants independent variably of thise researchers COVID-19 situation and dependent variables are leadership impact and learning distance education. Villaretal, 2021. Participants in thise research are 110 professors from different universities in Malaysia and thise research independent variable is COVID-19 situation statistic dependent in other situation. Independent variables are impact of leadership in educational institutions and process of learning from distances in thise research. There will 110 participants how will professors from different universities in different places in Malaysia method of choosing participants random sampling techniques will be said to conduct thise research. Random numbers of participants from different places will helpful to get accurate data research. SRCANDMASLAKI 2020 in thise research random sampling technique will be said and they will helpful for thise research as random sampling has been causing the relationship of biasness inaccuracy of data as there is no relation between participants that can influence them. Data analysis method, primary quantitative data analysis, will donated variation in results researchers will get to different universities and with help of a survey questionnaire they will ask professors to give their opinion. The Tau analysis will done through 30 of excellent thighs research. There will be primary quantitative of the Tau analysis. Shall benedict variation in results and they will be helpful for the research. Researchers will go to the university to the serves and to ask for opinion about the topic of the research. Different points of view will collected to analyze the results with help of Excel. Significancy and evaluation methodology for testing view see dice appropriate for conducting thighs research jet accurate editor and management it helpful to do. Primary quantitative research, Miller et al. 2021, in thighs research. This methodology is appropriate as it is big analyzed with help of different bioply and thigh points of view. The research participants are dedicated persons and then are particular for their behavioral faced issues in fitum of COVID to continue their teaching and will face it some to manage either distance learning process. Conclusion through sit can be concluded that in COVID situation the learning process from distance was affected in a great way. They were needed strong leadership quality of educational management that can manage the disruption of total system through it is concluded that during COVID period, the distance learning process was hampered as there was no physical contact with students to manage the disruptions. They were needed strong leaders to handle overall situations in a great way. Only great leaders can handle this situation. Thank you.